everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria Montefusco and I'm a lover of all things when it comes to makeup, beauty, all of that fun stuff. And today, per a viewer's request, I will put your comment somewhere over here. I'm going to be talking about my favorite eyeshadow brushes. So I use both synthetic and also natural bristle eyeshadow brushes. I have a lot of favorites for different purposes, so I thought it'd be useful just to show you all my favorite brushes per category and explain why I like them and all that fun stuff. So if you are interested in hearing about my favorite eyeshadow brushes, you should definitely keep on watching. All right, so the first category is by far the largest, and these are like fluffy crease brushes and blending brushes. So I use these to fluff color into my crease and fluff it out if I want to have more of like a, how do I explain it? If I want to have more of like a fluffed out, sharp sort of eyeshadow look that extends out further my lash line, that kind of thing in the crease. I also use these to blend out my outer corner. So these brushes are all dirty. I'm sorry, I haven't washed them this week. I normally wash my brushes like once a week or every other week. I'm pretty religious about it, but I think today is wash day, and so I haven't washed them yet. So I'm just gonna go by brand explaining the brushes. First up, we have this Nabla brush. This is the Nabla N306. So my Nabla brushes are synthetic. So if you are a vegan or you just don't want to use natural hair brushes, Nabla brushes are really, really good. So this brush is very much a just classic tapered sort of crease brush. I love using this with natural, neutral sort of colors. But I mean, this brush works well with every color, really. It's just a beautiful brush. I like how it tapers up, the bristles taper. I find that really good if you want to just fluff everything out in your crease. I also find it really nice if you want to use more of the point to get more into the crease. So it's really good. It's a multi-purpose brush and it's just really beautiful. And actually all of my Nabla eyeshadow brushes came in a set. I got it in the Trend Mood box sometime in 2020. I don't remember exactly when. And they came in a set in a cute little red pouch, and I really like all of them, but this one is definitely a standout in my collection, and I use this one at least once a week. So this is a great crease brush, fluffy crease brush. I love it. Next, another Nabla brush I like. This is the N305. So this brush is similar to the last brush I showed you because it is very fluffy, except that the bristles don't taper, they more go outwards, and this brush definitely has more of a rounded sort of bristle cut at the top. So I don't normally use this brush in my crease. You could if you want to. I just prefer the last brush I showed you. So this brush I normally use to blend. So if I have some mattes on my outer corner I want to blend, I use this brush. If I want to blend out a crease, I can use this brush. I mean, this is just one of my favorite blending brushes, but it can be used in the crease as well. Like my other Nabla brushes, again, this one is synthetic, so if you're vegan, you don't want to use natural hair brushes, this is a really good option for you. So this brush is awesome. I love all of my Nabla eyeshadow brushes. So let's move into Rephr. A brush I clearly loved, I own two of them, is the Rephr number 15. So I normally have one Rephr 15 for pinks and reds, and then one Rephr 15 for greens and blues. That's how much I love this brush. So this brush, I feel like this is a workhorse when it comes to the crease. This brush is amazing at just depositing bright colors in a really nice natural way while still keeping the colors fun and poppy. It really blends these bright colors in really well. And it's just beautiful in the crease. Again, just buff out color, even pack on color in the crease if that's something that you want to do. These brushes are also great, again, to blend out the outer corner. Normally, this brush I use for my crease is also the brush I use to blend out the outer corner. So again, these are a bit more rounded in shape at the top, and they just go whoop, right just like that. I am not good at explaining how brushes are shaped. I'm so sorry. This is like my first time talking about brushes in any sort of detail, but these brushes are great. I own two number 15s, so clearly I love them. They're awesome. Rephr does use natural hair, so I believe these are goat hair brushes if I'm not mistaken, and these are like crafted in Japan. I mean, they're like a cheaper way to get like fude brushes, I think that's what they're called. And so these are really high quality brushes. I love Rephr. They do have sales, so I recommend to wait for a sale if you are interested in Rephr. But I know some people just are not into natural hair brushes. I completely understand and respect that decision. So if you're not interested in natural hair, then don't go for Rephr. But if you are and you want to try some really luxurious fude style brushes, but you don't want to like spend the money on like Chikuhodo or anything like that, I think that these Rephr brushes are really, really good. Another Rephr brush I love for blending is the 16. So this is great for the crease. This is also great for blending, but I'd like to use this really to just get a wash of color in the crease. So this brush compared to the 15, which I'll show you them side by side. So this brush, the bristles are taller. They also taper at the top, and as you'll see, they have like a little point at the end where the 15 does not. So this brush is really good if you really want to get like in the crease with a point, like with a very specific spot of color. It's great for that. I also just like to use this brush again to like buff out color in the crease. I do use this as well for outer corner blending. It's great for that. I just love these darn Rephr eye brushes. They're just really good. And so this one is great. I love the taper at the top. It's awesome. I do like the 15 better. I feel like the 15 is a bit more versatile, which is why I own two of those and only one of these, but this one is great as well. And the last Rephr brush in this category. This is a new one in my collection. This is the Rephr number 27. So this is what it looks like. This just recently came out like a month or two ago. And let's compare it again to the 15 and the 16, just so you can see the difference. I feel like the 27 is the love child of the 15 and the 16. So the 27 is a less densely packed version of the 15. The 15 is very densely packed, the 27 not as much, but I do feel like it does taper a bit more than the 15, which makes it a bit more like the 16. I hope that makes sense. So I feel like this is again great for just like getting color into the crease if you don't want as much bam pigment as the number 15 will give you, but if you want to build up that color a bit more gradually, I feel like the 27 is really great for that. This is also really great for depositing color into your outer corner if you just again want to go really, really gentle and just like build it up. I've used it for that before, actually on my friend Becca, and it was really nice. So great for that as well. Also just an overall great blending brush, very much less densely packed than the 15, but if you want a less densely packed crease brush that's just like a workhorse, I feel like the number 27 is really good. So this is great, I love it. Next category. So my next category is very small crease brushes. So we have three contenders in this category. I will start with the Nabla one. So this is the Nabla N205. It is tiny, 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 tiny. So I use this brush for basically two different things. One, if I really want to get into my very, very inner crease, like if I just want to get like way deep into the crease, I use this. My eyes are slightly hooded, and so I feel like small crease brushes like this are really good for hooded eyes or like partially hooded eyes, because you can really, really get deep into that crease that is, you know, kind of hooded and hidden. So I love it for that. I also like it for the lower lash line if I just want to dust some color there, because it's really tiny and you can really get like into the lower lash line, like very detailed. I'll also use this sometimes if I'm doing a crease look like I did today, kind of, where I have like a lighter shade in the inner part and then like a deeper shade in the outer part, or I'm just doing like some color blocking in the crease. I feel like this brush and the other small crease brushes are good for that as well. Again, synthetic hair, so if you prefer synthetics, this is a really great option. It's just a great brush. I love it. It's not really tapered at the top. It's just like, it's kind of like a smaller version of this, like the Nabla N305. I feel like the N205 is a smaller version of the N305. So I think this is a great brush. Great small crease brush. And then let's talk about Rephr. So I have the Rephr 13 and 14. Again, these are intended for hooded eyes, but even if you're like me and your eyes aren't all the way hooded, or if your eyes aren't hooded at all, I feel like you could find some use for these in your collection. So the 13 is very much similar to the Nabla brush I just showed you. So let's put them side by side. They're very similar brushes. While the 14 is a bit taller and more tapered at the top. Like if I had to compare, I would say the 14 is the smaller version of the 16, while the 13 is the smaller version of the 15. So there you go. So again, this one's, the 14's taller, more tapered at the end. It's a bit fluffier, while the 13 is a bit more densely packed. It doesn't really have that taper, but these are both really, really good just for getting really detailed into the crease. Basically what I said about that Nabla brush, if you just want to get like into the crease, or if you want to use this on your lower lash line, or if you want to do some color blocking with your crease, these are both really amazing brushes. I love my Rephr brushes. I mean, you can't really go wrong, especially when they have a sale. So I'm going to go into brushes that I use when I pack color, when I pack mattes into my outer corner. But if you want to just do like an all matte look, you could also use these to pack mattes further into your lid. I just basically, like 99.9% of the time, I use metallics. And by the way, I always apply metallics with my finger. So my favorite brush for metallics is my finger. I don't ever use a brush to apply metallics. So sorry, don't have a recommendation for that. But if you want good brushes to pack on color, these are the three I recommend. So the first one is the Nabla N204. This is just a classic packer brush. There is not really much I can say about this. It does the job. It does it well. It packs on color. It can build it up gradually, or you can just go all in and bam, you can really pack it in there. So this is a great brush. I like it. I feel like the Rephr version of that is the Rephr number 2 brush. So this is what it looks like. I use this for mattes. I know some people do use this for like metallics and shimmers, but that's just not what I use it for. So again, if you just want to pack on some color, like you can make this really intense, like just pack it on there and bam, you're done. This is a really good brush for that. If you want a less intense version of like a packer brush, I would say the Rephr number 1 is good for that as well. So this brush is a lot fluffier, less densely packed. These bristles are a bit longer cut, and I just feel like this fits really well into my outer corner. You can just really pack on the color, but it's a bit more of a gradual packing on process. It's not as intense as those other packer brushes I showed you. So I think this is a really, really nice brush as well. And so the last category I have is called Miscellaneous. So I have 3 miscellaneous eye brushes I like to use. So let's start with this Nabla brush. So this is the Nabla N304. This is kind of a weird brush in my collection. I don't own any other brush that looks like this really. So this brush I only use on the lower lash line. If you want a brush that just like fits perfectly and hugs the lower lash line, this is the brush for you. So if that's something you're looking for, if you want a unique shape in a brush, because at least in my collection this is really unique, I think this brush is really, really good. So I like this brush a lot. If you want an awesome pencil brush, the Nabla number 2. So I do actually have the smaller version of this, which I'll grab for you real quick. So the tiny, tiny, tiny version of this is the Nabla number 3, but I personally prefer the Nabla number 26, which is this bigger one. So the Nabla 3 is just teeny, 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 teeny. The Nabla 26 is a bit bigger. So I use this brush for like one reason only, and that is if I want to pack a matte in my inner corner, especially a matte yellow. This is what I use this brush for. I know there are other ways to use pencil brushes. I just don't really use them that much. So this is what I use the brush for, but it is really good at that. It is really, really good at packing in mattes into my inner corner. So this is a great brush. And last but not least, I personally don't really support this brand anymore, but I do use this brush basically every single time I do my eyeshadow, so it's worth to give it a mention. This is the Morphe M124. This brush is just a synthetic brush. It has just like you know, bristles that go to like a rounded point. To me, this looks like a paintbrush, and I use this to apply my glitter glue. So what I do is I apply a little bit of glitter glue onto my finger, I take it, I go boop, 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 and then I just paint it on to my eyes. And this is the only thing I use this brush for. And it's really good at that. So if you want a brush for that, I mean, this is what I use it for, but I'm sure like any cheap, like eyeshadow brush that is a similar shape and similar like bristle structure to this one will do the job perfectly fine. So these are all of my favorite brushes. I hope you all enjoyed watching this video. I am not an expert on eyeshadow brushes, makeup brushes by any means. So I am sorry if this was not a very good explanation of what these brushes are like supposed to do. This is just what I use those brushes for when I do my eyeshadow. So I hope this is helpful. I hope that you all maybe find some good recommendations if you want to purchase some of these, if you're looking to expand your collection. Nabla for synthetic brushes and Refer for natural hair brushes. Those are my holy grail brands. So I hope you found this helpful. If you did, and if you like this video, please like this video. It helps out with the YouTube algorithm. If you like me, please subscribe. I post 3 times a week about beauty, makeup, fragrance, all of that fun stuff. And if you have anything to comment down below about these brushes, questions about these brushes, if you own some of these brushes and you want to tell me about them, please let me know. And with that, thank you for spending a little part of your day with me, and I will see you all next time. Bye!